As you can tell from the echoey sound of my voice, I am self-isolating in a crypt for the duration. And first off this week, a man was talking about the Trump protests last year when Trump was in town, and he leaves the programme a little earlier than he expected to. And I wonder about Steve Allen's motor, and a call comes up with an excellent way to choose who to vote for in a general election. Archway, hello Terry.
Hi Nick, hi. Did you see the protest? Did you see the interview with all the people raging outside the palace?
No.
And not one of them could explain the signs they were holding. It's like, what's that sign mean? What did Trump say that was the R word? And they're saying, I can't really remember one. How I'm going, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. 0345 6060 973. Well, maybe that wasn't him saying goodbye. I think he was quoting somebody else saying goodbye. But I got in just in time, I think. And David tweets, get yourself a Bentley like Steve. That's never going to happen. What kind of a Bentley has Steve got, by the way? What colour is it? Here, do you know what colour it is? No, let me guess. Brown.
I've never seen it.
I'll bet it's brown, and I don't like brown. Is it one of those giant chrome canoes that takes up about 3 parking spaces? It must be huge. Please, pretty please with sugar on top, tell me it's not a new one. It must be an old one. Is it an old one?
No.
It's a new one?
Apparently it can hold more than a set of golf clubs in the back.
Well, I would hope so. It'd probably hold my car in the back. He's bought a new Bentley. 0345 6060 973. Here is Croydon, Maxine.
Hello, my love.
Oh, my God, you're loud.
I haven't spoken to you for ages. Oh, my God, I've got sciatica. It's driving me nuts.
Really? Tell me more.
Stop whining.
No, I can't, because I phoned up to tell you about... I've got a good plan for you. Look, you was just talking about Steve Allen. Right now, he's got his own brand of tea towels, my love. And I don't know whether you listen to him in the morning, but he's now planning to bring out the Christmas cracker Steve Allen album of Christmas songs. But don't panic. Don't panic, my love.
I am panicking.
I have a job for you.
Now, wait a minute.
Now.
Hang on, back up just 1 minute. Are you telling me that Steve Allen sings?
Yeah, in the morning. I don't need to set my phone alarm. He wakes me up with his singing, my love.
Yeah.
He sings, yeah.
He sings
everything.
Well, now, wait a minute. Hang on one second. I'll pause there, Maxine. 1 moment. Let me just check on the veracity of this claim. Does Steve Allen sing?
I believe he hums.
Hums, Maxine.
Well, you could call it humming, singing.
Yeah.
It is in tune, though. It is quite good.
But we are agreed that Steve Allen hums.
No, we're agreed he does sing, but, you know, he's hoping to get it in the charts, but whether it will get there, I don't know.
Well, what song is it? What song is he singing?
He sings all Christmas songs, Away in a Manger,
right.
Hark the Herald Angels, he sings everything.
Well, I'm sure that Jesus
you
is...
do know he's a very Christmassy person.
Yes. I have no idea what that means.
Well, he loves Christmas, basically.
Right, okay.
Now, don't panic, because I've got a job for you, my darling. You could be a car test driver, because you've got 3 cars at the moment and none of them are working.
Yeah, they don't work.
So you could go out, test cars. If they don't work, that's it.
I think maybe it's me. Maybe as soon as I touch them, it comes up with...
It can only be attributable to human error.
Can you
human
please
error.
get out the car? Right, now, here's what I here's what I've
Yeah, some cars offer you a seatbelt. Yeah, it actually has a little arm that comes out and offers you a seatbelt. I bet Steve Allen's Bentley offers him a seatbelt as soon as he sits down. Offers him a seatbelt and a back massage, I bet.
Yeah, but the thing is,
mine says, can you please step out the car? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, your car will be, you'll have a sat-nav on your car. Please don't switch us on.
I
ain't going nowhere.
I actually do. I have a sat-nav in my car, but it's 10 years old. The sat-nav.
Oh, so you won't know where you're going.
I've got no idea where I'm going or where I've been.
Right, now, here's what I phoned up about. Boris and Corbyn. I got two birds, my love. Well, I did have a rosella parrot called Corbyn and a cockatiel called Boris. Unfortunately, 2 days ago, Corbyn died.
Oh, really?
Found him on the bottom of the cage.
Well, maybe he's resting.
Well, no, he wasn't, darling. He was stiff as a board. A bit like our Corbyn was tonight.
Did you think?
Now, I don't even know who I'm voting for. I'm going actually by it with my birds. Boris won because Corbyn couldn't take all the chatting from my cockatiel from Boris in the cage, so he thought, that's it, I'm off.
Well,
I honestly think I'm going to back Boris. Now, my birds...
Back the surviving parrot, yeah.
Yeah, my cockatiel actually looks like Boris, because, did you see Boris on the telly this morning?
Did he look like Boris Johnson?
He did, because his hair was all over the place.
That sounds like Boris Johnson.
Have you seen a brush or a comb?
I suspect that he artfully disarranges his hair in the mirror before he steps out the door. I don't think it's an accident. That's deliberate.
No, you know what that is? That's the forthcoming storm, my love. Right. That's what his hair's going to look like when we get them heavy winds. His hair will be all over the place.
Yeah, I think that's how... some people go to the barbers to get a haircut. He just stands in a storm. Yeah.
And that's it now. So, me bird died. So all I've got left now is Boris. And he sings as well.
Oh, right. Okay, well, not on this show.
And I'm not down the caravan this weekend.
Oh, I didn't ask.
No, you didn't need to, because you mentioned caravans earlier on.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you did. You said about the weather and you said about caravans.
Oh, yes, that is right, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, right,
yes, no. I'm not down the caravan. I'm at home because I've got very bad sciatica.
Yeah, like I said...
Whinging and whining and moaning.
I think maybe once I did. Yeah, it's a pain in your back, right?
Yeah, and it goes down
your leg, yeah.
What do you take for it?
Brandy.
Oh, no.
In large amounts.
Oh, no. Well, good luck with your car, my love. Or card, should I say.
And thanks a lot, and good luck with your pain in the neck, or wherever it is that it's affecting you. Thanks a lot, Maxine. Well, we certainly did learn a lot there, eh?
No.
Andy texts, my goodness, that woman was loud. Someone should tell her not to put the phone in her mouth. Yeah, put it in another room and yell at me from there. Thanks a lot, Maxine. Omara from Wallington texts, if you had not have spent all your life reading lefty books and trying to be clever, you would know how to fix your car and smoke alarm. Oh, come off it, Omara. Nobody knows how to fix a car anymore. It used to be I was talking to a mechanic, I was having this exact conversation just yesterday with an expert. And he said, we used to be able to fix a car just by, opening the bonnet and just chucking a hammer in there. And whatever the problem was, it would be sorted instantly. You just kick the tyres and the car would start. Now, it's you haven't got any idea. You need a degree in advanced computing science to be able to fix a car now. It's not a mechanic's job anymore. Open the bonnet, it looks like a modern art masterpiece in there. Got no idea even where to start. You open it up and I can't tell what's what and where's where. I mean, where do you fill up the stuff that squirts water up the window? And as for changing the oil, forget about it. Nobody can do any of that stuff anymore. Any more than you could fix your toaster if it broke. They make it that way so that you can't. You have to take it to a trained professional. This says, once my dad got so annoyed with a fire alarm beeping that he punched it and cracked the ceiling. Well, I know exactly what you mean. I wanted to take a golf club to it. Who's a call in Bracknell? Hello, Anthony.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Anthony.
I have a tale of anguish to share regarding the smoke alarm fiasco.
Yes.
So, my house is 2 stories, or as in 3 floors, but they call it's 2 stories.
Wait a minute. It's 2 stories, but it's 3 floors. You have an extra floor? What, for like a backup floor?
So the amount of... I have 2 sets of stairs.
Yeah. Well, get you with your dual staircase.
Well, but the house is narrow. It's narrow and tall.
Right. Well, may I make a suggestion?
Yeah?
If it's narrow, you have too many staircases. Just make do with one.
I didn't have much of a choice in the building of it.
Okay. It was like that.
Anyway,
it was like that when you got there. Right.
Exactly. So there's a smoke alarm on the top floor, just outside our bedroom.
Yeah.
And then there's a smoke alarm on the ground floor, or the 0th floor, or the 1st floor, whatever. And
how many floors has your house got?
so
have you been on every floor?
House.
Do you know what's on each
with
floor?
3 floors.
Right, I see. It's a 2-story house with 3 floors. So that means 1 floor is outside.
Well, no, because they call it, the 1st floor is always called ground 0, isn't it?
No.
No. The 1st floor, the first time you go upstairs, that's called the 1st floor.
Right, the party of the 1st floor.
Yeah. And then the 2nd floor is the 3rd floor.
Right, well, you certainly are clearing this all up for us.
Exactly. I'm trying my best.
This is you trying your best. Struth. Try harder. Go on.
Right. So the smoke detector started doing its thing, where it starts warning you that the battery's gone.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. And I had to figure that one out.
Well, first of all, if you've got more than one smoke detector in the house, then you can't tell where it's coming from because it beeps, and then there's about 30 seconds or a minute before it beeps again. So it takes quite a long time to track it down. And it always happens at 3 in the morning.
By the way, have you ever had an old smoke alarm that you thought you discarded? So you chuck it in a cupboard somewhere, and then one day, years later,
it starts beeping.
The battery runs flat, and you've just got this mysterious beep, and you just can't trace where. Have you ever had that?
No. But that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
Because if it beeped continuously, if it was one long tone, then you'd be able to track it down. But because it only beeps very briefly...
It's the drip torture.
Yes, exactly right. Yes, it drives you insane. Yes.
Yeah, I was
anyway,
almost at the point where you start believing in ghosts.
Yeah, you were on the 5th floor of your 2-story house.
I was on the 5th floor of my 2-story house.
Yes.
I was in the roof. I was on the floor closest to the top.
Right, you were on the roof, yeah.
And the beeping happened, it was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., something like that. So I knew that was the one because it was the one closest. I just knew it was that one. I could detect the distance.
You had a feeling.
My ear and it. Mm-hmm. I had a feeling. So I realized I didn't have a battery. So you ever do, this is another little chestnut. You just move the battery around. Or you put it in and out again and you get an extra couple days.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Well, you fool it into thinking that it's a new battery. Yeah. And only realises in the morning.
Right, the TV remote. When your TV remote's dying, have you not ever just gone, and just moved? You can rub the batteries, you can rotate them a bit, put the cover back on, and you get the volume will work again. You get an extra couple of days out of it.
Yeah, a little bit more juice.
Exactly. So that's I applied that trick because I just didn't have that sort of rectangle.
Well, charade you are, because the batteries that are in fire alarms, they're those square ones, aren't they?
Yes, and no one has those to hand.
No, ever.
Ridiculous.
Exactly right, yes. And it doesn't stop beeping if you take the battery out.
No, how does that even work? Where do you get the power for that then?
I have no idea.
Why can't it just use that power to continue detecting smoke?
Why can't they just leave us alone?
So I had to drive, I I had to specifically drive somewhere the next day to get one of those batteries.
Yeah.
And I changed that one, and actually that was, I remember, push your thumb in somewhere, pull it out, no tools required. So that was actually not... Because initially you think you can twist it, but the twisty is actually how you get it on the ceiling.
Yeah, it looks like the easiest thing in the world, but they make it so complicated, so fiendishly difficult, that you just flat out cannot do it without firing up the internet and peering at because it's white writing on a white background. They just raise the writing a little bit, so it's impossible to read. You're trying to read the manufacturer and the model number, and you just can't do it.
You've got to Google the exact make and model that you've got. So that one was fine. Okay. I fixed it. And then the next week, the one on the ground floor, the first floor or the zeroth floor, that started beeping as well.
One of those.
That's in the landing.
One of those floors.
The landing? The hallway?
Oh, you have a landing and a hallway. Wow. Talk about fancy.
And this one wasn't a push your thumb in and slide it out. This required a tool. So it's one of those ones that's got the little slot. You have to slide like a flat screwdriver in.
The electrician that put mine in made it so that he installed it right next to the wall and put it so that the part where you had to stick a screwdriver in was by the wall, so you physically couldn't do it. I really wanted to kill him very much indeed. Coming up, a pop quiz.
I'm Alan Partridge, and this is me.
Hang about, Nick. Listen, now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yes, good evening, Nick.
Brian.
My bestest mate.
Okay.
You run about who some sounds... You know, you like a little pop question now and again.
Yeah.
You said who sung sounds as gold, and I think we all know that, don't we?
Oh, it was Simon and Garfunkel. Silence is golden, golden. The Tremolos, yeah, like I said.
Yeah. But here's another add-on to it, Nick. What was it the B-side of Another Big Hit?
The Tremolos.
Sounds as golden.
It was a B-side.
It was a B-side of Another Big Hit.
Because because DJs must... Hey, DJ! They must have flipped it over and played the other side. The Tremolos.
It was another group. They had a big hit, but it was the B-side of this big hit for another group.
Well, now, wait a minute. So there were two groups on the one record?
It was a B-side.
But it wasn't
a big hit of another group.
Well, that's bizarre.
Before the Tremolos. And then the Tremolos released it and it got number one as an A-side.
That's really strange. Why would there be two groups on one record?
No, they weren't the same record.
Well, you're describing this really badly, because what you've told me so far is that the Tremolos, Silence is Golden, was on the B-side of somebody else's record.
Yes, and then they released it themselves as an A-side and it got number one. Have you any idea what it was?
I still am not sure what it is that you're saying.
Right, I'll tell you what it was.
No, I don't care.
You do? You like a little quiz, don't you? Have a thing in the dark. Have a guess.
Well, it's impossible for me to guess.
60s.
So it was the Tremolos were on the B side of somebody else's record.
No, you're trying to wind me up or what?
That's what you said.
Look, there was a record released by another group.
Yes,
and it was a big hit in the charts.
Right.
But the B side, which we didn't know, was Sounds as Golden.
Right.
And then later, the Tremolos released that B side by another group, and it got number one as an A side.
Right.
It was two different records.
Oh, well, you're terrible at explaining things. Have I mentioned that? Yeah.
Right. Do you know what it is?
Chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep.
Well, it wasn't even in the 60s, that.
I don't know. More to the point, I don't care.
You'll never guess it if you don't.
Right.
know.
Well, then I'm going to sit here and guess it. And
it was a Tamla Motown group.
Right. So it was.
There's a clue for you.
I don't know. Please put me out of my mystery.
Ragdoll by the Four Seasons.
Right.
The B-side was Sounds as Gold.
That is interesting.
Ragdoll. Yeah. No, it came up on the quiz few years ago.
Yeah,
It's a good
really.
question, you know.
Wow. So now we know. Meanwhile, the subject of Steve Allen's car would not die. Linda tweets, Steve Allen's Bentley, I'm pretty sure it's silver. That's a very, very boring colour for a car, silver. That's the kind of colour that people buy with a mind to selling it on. What's the inside like? Hey, what's the inside of his car like?
I've never been in his car.
Are they fabric seats?
I've no idea. Never been there.
Yeah, never been there. Not invited. No, leather, almost certainly leather. Silver would have to be black inside, wouldn't it? Silver. I mean, it couldn't be cream. You can't have a light-coloured outside and a light-coloured inside. That'd be a big mistake. Huge. I bet it's black leather. He's probably got leather in his car. Can only dream of having a luxury leather interior. Mike says, what kind of Bentley does Steve have? In his own words, a brand new, really expensive one that Nick couldn't afford. He did not say that. I think you are disseminating misinformation. Liar! That is fake news. Hull. Charles.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, Charles.
By the way, I remember Lord Allen of Allenshire. We had to leave the school and line the streets as a Bentley swept past us, spitting up dust and mud into our faces. But we were proud.
Yeah.
We were proud to be there, I'll have you know.
Right.
Can I mention about the Corbyn and Boris thing?
Yes, the debate that was on last night, yes.
Yeah, there was an open goal. I mean, it was so open, the goalie left the goal to go back into the terraces.
Right. The goalie was sitting in the top tier with a pie in his hand. Yeah, go on.
I'll tell you what it was. Boris Johnson was asked about trust, and then he started stuttering and spluttering, and he actually said, anybody who's written anything and lied, they should get on their knees. And all Jeremy Corbyn had to do was say these words. Are you going to get on your knees, Boris Johnson, now?
So what did he say?
He didn't say it at all. It was an open goal. It was the second open goal. Jeremy is too polite. He's not Bullingdon boy.
Well, I don't know. Is that what we require of a leader? Somebody who's quick with a quip?
Well, you've got to be quick off the mark. I'd have to say that, don't you? Would you think?
You know, I'll restate my case. I've got to be brief because the news is coming up. Sure. I looked at John Major. You remember John Major? Boring. Exactly. He did a little video, a piece to camera, and it went out. And regardless of what he said, just the way that he said it, it was like being sent back in time to when a politician, to when a leader was a serious person, rather than just somebody who spouted the company line parrot fashion. And I thought, wow, this is like... It's like when you see an old documentary on television from the 1970s. It'll just be one bloke in a corduroy suit just standing still and talking to camera. And there's no dancing. He isn't riding a bicycle towards the camera. There's no music in the background or anything like that. He'll just stand there and he'll talk for half an hour. And you're just taking in a blizzard of information. That's how documentaries used to be on TV. And now it's like a documentary looks the same as Dancing with the Stars. Charles, I've got to go, but thanks a lot. 03, but that's the stupidification of the nation continues apace. Al from Tring says, the more I listen to Corbyn and Johnson, the less I want to vote for either of them. So I'm going to vote Lib Dem because I quite fancy Joe Swinson. Well, that's as good a reason as any, I suppose. Lisa in Aldershot says, I fixed my oven the other day by replacing the fan and the element in the grill by watching a YouTube video. Experts said it's cheaper to buy a new oven. Rubbish, 55 quid and all working fine. Oh, you mean, no, it's cheaper to buy a new oven. Rubbish, 55 quid and it's all working fine. Thank goodness for YouTube, by the way, because I've tried DIY. By the way,
Warning! Warning!
DIY is very dangerous. Always contact a trained professional. Don't do it yourself. Have someone do it themselves for you. But all of the stuff that, like I rehung doors and used chisels to get out the wood for the hinges, and I put handles on doors and put new locks on the doors, and just all this sort of stuff that you would never know how to do unless you'd been to a class before the invention of the internet. But after the invention of the internet, then everybody's a blooming expert. The problem with DIY is, and this is the difference between getting somebody in, getting a trained professional in and doing it yourself, is that if you get a professional in, then it's probably the 100th or 200th time that they have done whatever it is you're asking them to do. So it will be smoothly done. They'll know all the tricks and the shortcuts and the ways to make it look good and proper. If you DIY something, then your first effort is the thing that you're going to have to live with. That's why DIY always looks really, really bad, because it's people's first effort. But without YouTube explaining how to do all of these things, I'd never have been able to do it. I'd still have no doors up. But it was a bit rocky along the way. There was a lot of swearing and shouting, by which I mean a lot.
Disgusting.
Of swearing and shouting. They don't tell you that on YouTube. See? YouTube. It's not just pussycats and puppy dogs.
Coming up, why we choose the people we vote for at a general election, which was imminent at the time, and we'd just had one of those TV debates. And there's a